Hey, how's it going? Happy Saturday. Well, my dashboard's there. You can see everything I'm using, and that's everything. That's my home production dashboard. Forgot that was up on the screen. Doesn't matter. No secrets there anyways. How's everybody doing? Happy Saturday. What are you guys working on? Man, I've been kind of busy. I know that I missed out last week at a friend's kid's birthday party I had to attend, and they said it's at 3 o'clock, and they told us the day before. And I thought, well, I got to do it. He's a new member to the family, so I had to do it. And plus, it was a chance to get to see all of my friends that I haven't seen in like over a year. So, yeah, how's everybody doing? How's the weather in your area? I'll start with the weather in my area. I usually start with weather. Weather here has been kind of weird. It's been, was really hot, then it got cool. Now it's back to really humid, kind of raining. Like it's been wanting to rain for a couple of days, but it just won't rain. Today we're kind of getting a little bit of sprinkles, some showers coming. Heard the Midwest, the other Midwest. We're the northern Midwest. But a lot of the Midwest near Chicago has been getting just tons and tons of rain. And it's been really, really hot and cold and back and forth. So I think a lot of at least the Midwest is getting this really weird weather. It's like kind of spring one day, and then one day it's like late summer. The other days it's, yeah, I want normal summer. But anyways, I'll take it. I actually enjoy change. So if it's, different weather, I'm all for it. But anyways, man, what are you guys working on? I've been super busy like usual. Just a whole bunch of like maintenance type stuff. You saw probably my video on web tops that went over pretty well. Surprised me on the amount of engagement and interest in this topic. So I think I might go down this path a little bit more. That's why I try new things. But I've been running web top at home. It's actually pretty fun. It's kind of weird though. It's just like a desktop inside of a container that's inside of Kubernetes that then is running on top of possibly Docker that's running on top of a virtual machine that's on top of bare metal. So a lot of layers there. I'm okay with lots of layers. But this might be one layer too many for even me. Even me, a lot of layers. But yeah, hope you guys are doing well. Again, sorry I missed last week. But just had some family, friend stuff to do. But you guys know how it is. Things opening back up. Things kind of starting to feel normal, but not really. The new normal, I guess. But real quick, let's call out these follows. There were a couple follows earlier today. Danny 1. There's lots of I's and 1s in there. Hey, thanks for follow. Appreciate it. Trolling for you. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for follow. Appreciate it. Yeah, so let me know what you guys are working on or what you're interested in or what's been going on. You guys give me some of the best ideas for most of my home lab. I know that you say that I give you ideas, but a lot of my ideas come from you. So throw anything out there, things you're working on, things you're interested in, things you want me to see, maybe things you're having problems with, and we'll try to address them. So let's answer the question of, who was here first? PC Geeky was in here first, peekaboo, lol. And that was because at the last second I realized, I didn't size my chat window that you see properly. And so I was really quick doing that, and it probably looked like really intense, and then flipped it back off. But he was here. So thanks for being here, PC Geek. How you doing, man? Good to see you. How's your week been going, man? Glad it's Saturday. Super hot here today, and more on the way next week. So you're in the Northeast. I'm in the North Central. Yeah, it's been hot here too. I'll take the rain though, because with the heat and the lack of rain the last couple of weeks, my grass is just toast. Not that I have great grass anyways. It's a lot of weeds and clovers, but I don't mind. As long as it's kind of green, I'm fine with that. But you can tell where the sprinklers don't hit because those patches are bright yellow, like hay in my yard. So I had to do some adjusting. But hopefully you guys get some relief. Yeah, upper 90s is way too hot for me. Even 90s. Upper 80s for me is too much. I mean, it's okay to run out in and do stuff, but not to hang out in. Yeah, what's up? Salvarius, how's it going? Good to see you in here. I am I troll. I like it. Ilude, it's always DNS, and then run as DNS. Yeah. How's it going, man? Good to see you. Thanks for all three, all your contributions to Discord. Really appreciate it. Software Rat, how's it going? Haven't seen your name in a while. How you doing? Salvarius, Ilude, I really like your Proxmox dark mode script. Yeah. Ilude's got great scripts that he shares quite a bit in our Discord community, and they are fantastic. If you want to automate Proxmox, if you want to set it to dark mode using another script. If you want to remove the nag screen, he's got them all. iLoot's got them all. I need to borrow some of those. That nag screen, it nags me, and I get why it's there, but at the same time, every time I see it, I'm like, yep, got to use iLoot script, and then I hit OK, and then I never remember to do it. So I totally got to grab that. PC Geek, spending money, LOL. I have another Dell 1U coming. R320, nice, man. You're getting into the 1U game. All right, I'm a fan of 1Us, just because I get more density, per U. You get a little more noise depending on which ones you get and how the fans are tuned, but I like the density of it. And then there are some trade-offs, like PCI Express devices only fitting one, but for the most part, I think they're fantastic. I think they're great. Stream Hype, yeah, Home Lab New, how's it going, man? How's it going? I missed this. PC Geek, plan to sell off both of the R710s. Nice. Speaking of 710s, I actually just sold mine the other day. A nice young guy was interested in learning about servers and computers, and I put it on Facebook Marketplace because, man, it's so discoverable. It's like one of the few reasons I use Facebook. And I've only sold things on there a couple of times, but man, you get a lot of responses. I'm just blown away on how popular Facebook Marketplace is. It must be holding up most of Facebook. But man, someone I listed it for sale. Someone reached out, and next, day or two later, it was sold. Nice kid came by. I showed him it and everything, and he was like, "I saw your YouTube videos, so." Well, when he first got here, I was like, hey, do you need me to start it up? Do you want to start it up? And I put Ubuntu on it for him. I cleared out the RAID, cleared out my drives, of course. And, I said, hey, do you want me to start it up? I can fire it up. I'll bring a monitor out, whatever. He's like, no, it's cool. And I was like, all right. But then he told me earlier, yeah, I saw your YouTube videos. Does it have everything that was in the YouTube video, your home lab tour one? I'm like, yep, it's exactly that minus a video card if a video card was in there. Anyways, so I hated to part with it, but after getting my 1Us, I just couldn't justify keeping it on 24/7 anymore. Like if you're running virtualization and you need a ton of compute, like it's a great server for that. But as you know, I moved all of my compute or my VMs over to my 1U servers, so I couldn't justify keeping it on 24/7. Just to run file servers or TrueNAS or something like that, because man, it can use a lot of power if you're not using the power. So idle wattage is pretty high, but if you're going to take advantage of all those cores, it's fantastic. Bill Nash, hey, how's it going? Bill Nash, resub, tier 1, 8 months, sup nerds? I think every time you sub, I get the sup nerds. How's it going, man? How you doing? Thank you so much. Lights are partially working. Didn't even test them this morning. I'm okay with that. One doesn't work sometimes, and I know why. It's because I use this IR blaster, and that IR blaster sometimes, for whatever reason, after it sends it to one, like the other one's not listening. I don't know. Maybe it's dusty back there. We'll see. Anyways, Bill Nash, thanks for the sub. Appreciate it. Thanks for the continued support. 8 months. That's a ton of time. Thank you so much. I feel like was I even on Twitch 8 months ago? Yeah, and the answer is yes. But man, it flies by so fast. PC Geek, so Home Lab News, Stream Hype, how's it going, man? Good to see you. PC Geek, both are just too loud and power monsters. Yeah, kind of what I was talking into. It's great if you're gonna do virtualization. Like if it's your virtual server, Proxmox, ESXi, whatever, and you're gonna run 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 virtual machines, it's like the perfect server. But if you're gonna create a file server or something very, doesn't use a ton of compute, its idle wattage is pretty high. So I'm right there with you, but it's a great machine. I hated to part with it, but I'd rather see someone get it who was excited about learning and didn't know much about home labs, but was all gung-ho. So that was worth it in itself. And the resale value, I held its value. I mean, I sold it for just a little bit less than I paid, and I got so much use out of it. Anyways, I'll stop talking about that because a lot of you don't have 710s, but they are great devices. So don't let me discourage you if you're thinking about getting one. They're fantastic. But just remember, use it for your virtual server or Proxmox host or ESXi host or whatever your Hyper-V, whatever you're going to use as your hypervisor, and not necessarily just for a file server, because you'll notice on your power bill. Black. Oh, this does not meet the accessibility guidelines. Vuski, wow, I'm actually catching one of your streams for once, though I wish it wasn't because I'm sat in my office troubleshooting servers. Oh man, that's too bad. I hope you figured it out. Glad you tuned in while you're troubleshooting servers. Hopefully, it don't distract you too much. Don't use sudo. I don't know any tips to give because I don't know what types of servers you're giving. The only thing I can suggest is concentrate on what you're doing. And if you want to keep me on in the background, absolutely, that's fantastic. But yeah, work seems pretty important if you're there on a Saturday. Salvarius, PC Geek, LO, after seeing what this new R620 can do, I'm planning another. Going to get the R710 out of the equation. Nice, Salvarius. I saw you in Discord too. You had it set up on looked like a coffee table. It looked like classic. It looked like something I would do, totally. Set up a server on a coffee table and just put a monitor on top and then maybe the keyboard and mouse on top of that. Like your picture in Discord, I was like, it's like me. But yeah, nice. A lot of people are picking up 620s lately, or 1U servers in general. There's been a lot of buzz, at least in our Discord, talking about it. Some people had mentioned that, I don't know if it's, warranties are up on these machines, which I would assume they would be from a long time ago, or people are refreshing servers in their data centers. And so it seems like a lot of them are turning up on eBay, and you can get a really good price from them, like most things on eBay. So yeah, awesome. I'm interested to know more about what you're gonna do on them, because I think those have the 2.5 drives, and I don't have any 2.5 drives in my environment at all. I mean SSDs, obviously. Oh, there we go. That's a use case for me. But yeah, I'm curious to know what you guys are going to run on them, because they look awesome. They look awesome. It's a super good deal. And it's hard to find machines that you can get that much, either RAM and compute, for a decent price. I mean, you just can't beat it. Any Dell servers from years ago. Homeland New, Techno Tim, you're not going to believe this, but I'm on another delayed flight to London as I send this message. Something about you and going across the pond or coming back across the pond all the time is you get delayed, rerouted to different states, and you end up where you're supposed to be a day and a half later. So hopefully it goes well. Hopefully it's delayed for a good reason. And so I wish you safe travels. PC Geek, nice man. Homeland New, might have to drop back in at some point. The signal is so awful. I hope I have transcoding options, because on mobile, yeah, it can get awful on mobile data. Ilude, hardly mine, standing on the shoulders of giants and all that. Yeah, Ilude, your scripts. Hey, but you've put them together and put them in nice GitHub gists so that we can all consume them really easy. So even though, you may have borrowed the script from someone else, they're totally consumable because they're all in gists, and then you share them in Discord. So, hey, that's worth something too. So thank you so much. PC Geek, been patching cables into my rack. Yeah, nice. You got the big rack going now. I've seen it in Discord. Big rack, lots of cabling. You have a 42U rack, the Sun microsystem ones. Looks awesome. Yeah, we need more pictures. We need more pictures. Let's see. Chenman Fit. That's what I'm going with. Mess with MongoDB. All right. I mess with MongoDB too. I have a couple of databases, or collections, I guess should call them, since it's Mongo. I use it. I use it all day, every day, but I don't develop on it exclusively. But yeah, it's super nice, especially for JavaScript, and it just works. I don't know, works great, I think. But it's the difference between structured data and documents, which can be, interesting at times, depending on how you model your data. But I enjoy it. There's a great use case for it, for a lot of different things I'd use, like a lot of different lists where I don't need to do joins across data, and it's perfect. But yeah, awesome. Well, congratulations on messing with MongoDB. Messing sounds like either you're fed up with it or it's new to you. Hopefully it's new to you and you're just exploring. Software Ret, nope. Not having any projects. Hey, that's totally fine too. Enjoy it. Those are good times too, to be able to not have something looming or in the pipeline that you have to do. And then with me, it comes anxiety and stress about, I need to get this thing done, and when am I going to do it? And anyways, I'm starting to get stressed out thinking about doing stuff that I need to do. Enjoy it. It's okay to not have a project. It's okay to not have something next, and enjoy the time. That's what I say. Because there are days like that for me where I'm like, sweet, I just got a video out. I'm just gonna, tonight I'm gonna code or listen to some music or chat and do nothing other than that. Just, kind of fiddle around. ISO, weekend project, organizing music on my NAS. Yeah, I need to do that too. Don't we all? Hey, real quick, Senomi, T offset. Oh, that's so hard. I'm going to go with Cenobite offsec. Sorry about that. Cenobite offsec. Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. ISO, yeah, I hear you on the music thing. I used to go all in with music. I think we all did. We all were like, yeah, I got tons of music. Let's organize it, album art, get the right tracks, update everything properly. And then streaming music happened, and now I think it's even coming back again. I need to do the same thing. I still have my music from college, which was a while ago, and it's on my NAS, but I haven't imported it into anything. I haven't even imported it into Plex, and I use Plex exclusively. So I hear you. Let me know what you end up using or how you organize it. I usually do, artist, album, and then throw the tracks in there. And then who knows if they're going to match anything. That was the other problem too. I use, Windows Media, whatever it was, Windows Media player, and it would update my album art. Then I used other players, even going way back, Winamp, and just seems like everyone had their own database. And then you can run these tools to update your, metadata for the music, and that would help with matching with other players. But it was a lot of time and effort. But yeah, Homeland New. Oh man, the signal is so bad. I'm hoping you get transcoding options. Oh, no transcoding. There's the answer right there. None today. Man, it must be a busy day on Twitch. Salvarius, never-ending task. Been trying to get mine organized for the past 7 years. I hear you. I even blocked out, local music from my mind for the last probably 5. Ever since I went to Spotify, I'm just like, well, I'll just find it again and create these playlists again. But it's always nice to listen to older music that you've had for a long time. It's like a new playlist, when you find a playlist that matches your music style and you listen to it. That's what I feel like going back to old music is. But I don't know. I feel like back in the day, it was like more about albums, and now it's more about singles. So, I mean, that's another great, reason to listen to old music is because, for me at least, I would listen to albums at a time versus singles at a time. I think iPod started the whole singles thing, or iTunes, I guess I should say. PC Geek, I blame Twitch. I blame them too. No transcoding. They don't know what they're talking about. They need some of my 3090 power. Yeah, I wish. I would loan it to Twitch for myself. AKA, I wish I could offer them transcoding and do it myself. I mean, I could easily transcode 4 streams on this 3090 and then upload it to Twitch, in 3 different streams. I have the bandwidth to do that too, 3 or 4 different streams. And then they would, consume it and then hopefully broadcast it from there. That'd be awesome. But for whatever reason, they don't let you do it. It'd probably so much bandwidth. If I was to transcode it and send 4 options for people from here, it would be sweet if they even had their own client to let people connect back directly to my IP. But that might use a lot of bandwidth. So probably not a good idea. Software I have a monitor hooked up with VGA, and it runs kind of 1080p because of Linux and an old AMD laptop. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I have older machines too, and they only run 1080p, and I have some 1080p monitors, and they only, obviously support 1080p, but it gets weird with Linux and mixed in there too, and older hardware, especially laptops where they had mobile versions of processors, and who knows if you were going to get the driver on Linux. That sums up my Linux experience for the first 4 or 5 years is installing an old machine, installing it on a laptop, not having the right audio drivers or video drivers, and videos looking weird. None of the function keys working on notebooks. You guys know all this, and that was pretty much my Linux experience for a couple of years. But I loved it because it was new and it was different. And I was learning. Homeland New, why don't they just let you do your own transcoding? That would be great. Yeah, I was just talking to that. Yeah, it would be pretty cool. I would totally do it if they let you. But I have a feeling, I don't know. For them, it's probably, you know, having something a little bit different probably costs them so much money to develop that tech. And they're kind of like, well, you know, if, you know, their top 4% of, you know, streamers make 90% of their income, like, why are we going to make this feature for all these smaller ones? I'm putting words in their mouth, but I could kind of see, like, you know, why they may not. I would love to. That'd be awesome. Or if OBS had some way to do it. But at the end of the day, I think Twitch would need a way to consume that and then use that. But yeah, I would totally use my 3090. I'm using it now. It's probably not even at 1% right now to encode this stream. Johnny in full effect. Really want to build a Raspberry Pi cluster. Get K3S going and have some fun with Kubernetes. Yeah, sounds awesome to me. Sounds awesome to me. I have a hybrid Kubernetes cluster right now. It's, you know, both x86 and one Raspberry Pi in my cluster. It's super fun. It's super fun. If you're gonna go all Pis, you know, just make sure that, you know, your workloads can run on a Pi individually. And then the other thing I always mention too, if you're gonna do that, is to just make sure that if, you know, if you have a cluster of 3, you shut down 2, that the last one can bear the brunt of all 3. So if you have 20 containers spread out across, you know, 3 nodes, that's great. But if 2 nodes go down, can the last node support the weight of all of those containers in the case of, you know, high availability? It's something I forget about a lot. It's something I forget about every now and then too. Like my Pis in my cluster, every now and then my blog or something hops on it. I totally forget, or I reboot a cluster or reboot a node because I'm doing some maintenance or patching, and everything hops on that Raspberry Pi, and I basically, you know, DOD myself by giving it too much compute. But those are things that are fun to figure out and play with once you get it going. So I hope you enjoy it, Johnny in full effect. Thanks for stopping in. Pizza Geek, for the people with a high upload speed and able to send multiple video streams. Yeah, I totally agree. I think they should. Why not? You know, because it only makes the user experience better for people watching. You know, I think it's a win-win. They just need to develop it. You like layers? You must be done in. Yeah, I do. I don't. Yeah, somewhat. Yeah, I don't mind layers. I think that each one of those layers, I don't unnecessarily add layers to my stack. I add them if they provide some kind of benefit, and then I'm cool with them at the end of the day. You know, and I think this is in response to my, you know, a container inside of a virtual machine that's inside of, you know, a hypervisor. I'm totally fine with that stack too. Would I love to remove one layer, you know, the hypervisor, and run everything bare metal with like some kind of hyper-converged infrastructure? Heck yeah, I would. I think we're gonna get there. We'll see. Takano, hey, how's it going, man? Just was given 4 computers though. Yeah, man. The fun never ends, man. What are you gonna put on those 4 computers? I'd love to know. I'm betting, I don't know. With you, it could be anything. It's arcades one day, it's ham radios the next, it's servers the next. So I don't even want to guess, man. But congratulations on picking up 4 computers. Captain Didbit, working on learning React and a Twitch bot. Nice, man. That's right up my alley. Bots, not so bad. React isn't making sense. Yeah, hey, real quick. Hey, Inkfaust, dude, gifted sub. Thank you so much. Inkfaust, gifted sub to Captain Tidbit. Inkfaust, dude, thank you so much. Appreciate it. So, Inkfaust, enjoy your gifted sub. Captain Tidbit, enjoy your gifted sub from Inkfaust. Thank you. And then Inkfaust, thanks for the resub. Tier 1, 2 months, 1 month streak. Enjoy. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thanks for gifting one. Thanks for the continued support. Man, you're making the lights just go. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. But yeah, so Captain Tidbit, yeah, I can totally relate. So the Twitch bot, yep, it's kind of easy because I don't want to say easy, but if you're new to development, building a Twitch bot is a lot easier than learning all of React. With the Twitch bot, it's kind of, you know, it's Node, it's backend, there aren't components, there's very little life cycle things you have to figure about or figure out. And you know, you got to worry. The only thing you have to worry about is events and maybe auth. But you know, when an event fires, do this action. Event fires, do this action, and it's that loop the whole time. With React, it's it could be anything, and it's really tough. I won't deny that it's tough. When I made the switch from Angular to React, I was like, oh gosh, am I doing the right thing? And there was like a month of where I was just like, I got to keep doing it. I got to keep doing it. It doesn't make a ton of sense. I'm probably doing a lot of things wrong, but I got to keep doing it just because I knew how popular it was, and I wanted to learn it, and just how valuable having that skill was. Hey, Marble Wraith, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. So, I guess my advice to you is just keep on keeping on. Build simple to-do, hello world, to-do list apps, and I think you'll be fine. If you're having a problem just learning React and you want some really awesome components, look at Material UI. I use that for almost all my UIs I build. So Material UI is a component library. It's open source, and it's React components that look like Material UX, which is Google's UX. So if you think of Gmail, YouTube, all of Google's products, they have a certain design style. Material UI gives you those components to make your apps look like Google apps. Maybe you want that, maybe you don't. But I would recommend checking it out, because then it's like, oh, okay, I need a header. Sweet, they have a header. Oh, here's the properties. I need a list. They have a list. Awesome. I don't have to build a list myself. I'll use their list and give it properties. And they have so many components. I'm a huge fan. I've been using Material UI for years, and I have no problems ever recommending it or building a new UI that starts with it and branching out from there. So anyways, I do a ton of React, so I could talk about it all day. Chicano, currently at the pharmacy, waiting as I just got my COVID vaccine. Congratulations, man. Yeah. They make you wait afterwards to see if you're going to like freak out or anything. So far, I haven't known anyone that has freaked out or had any, abnormal side effects. So congratulations. It's really awesome, man. Vuski. Now, I just picked up a QCT, acronyms, Quantumplex T4 1S 2U at my lab. I'm still debating if I want to run ESXi with vCenter or Proxmox. Yeah, it's a tough call. If vCenter was free or open source or I had a license, I would consider it too. I go with Proxmox because 1, it's fantastic. 2, it's open source, and 3, you get a ton of bang for your buck, which is 0. Time is worth something too. So you might need to invest a little bit more time than you would with ESXi, depending on where you're starting. I'd say start with free until it doesn't work anymore. Start with open source until it doesn't work anymore. Because you get a ton of features like vCenter with Proxmox. A lot of HA and a lot of other features that you get elsewhere. vMotionish type things, HA type things. But I wouldn't say they had a one-to-one feature match or feature parity, but pretty close and definitely good for home lab for sure. Dipskit, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. How you doing? Dr. Bell, PhD, haven't seen your name in a while. How you doing? I miss your weekly YouTube videos. Do you have a new schedule for publishing, or is it random when you have time? Yeah, the latter. So my plan is as soon as they're done. And I know that sounds like a cop out for like, oh, now you can do whatever you want. Well, I kind of can, because this is not my job. Even if it were, I need to make sure that they're of decent quality. I have to come up with ideas. I have to do the project. I have to film it. Then I have to edit it. Then I have to edit it and edit it again. Then, all the things that come along with YouTube videos. Maybe I'll share like my process someday. But my new schedule is when they're ready. And that could mean that I release 2 in a week, which I have before. Or that could mean I release 1 in 3 weeks, which I have done before. That's the longest streak I've gone without releasing a video, I think. And I used to do it weekly, and it just became too much to where, I have a job, I have a wife and dogs, and it was just like that first year of doing it, I wanted 1 a week. I stuck to that. It was very rigid, and that means sometimes I was staying up until 2, 3 o'clock, on Friday night to make sure that they're uploaded and ready for everyone on Saturday morning. And then other times that meant that I'm sitting on one that's done on Wednesday until Saturday, just because it was 1 a week. And so I kind of broke that model and said, when they're done. Lately, my schedule is, again, falling back to Saturdays because my weeks are kind of predictable. I work during the day. I have things I do, on Sundays, and I have things I do on Saturday nights. And so I don't do too much on Friday. I have an early Friday thing we do usually. So anyways, long story short, it's falling back to Saturdays, but it won't always be. So anyways, Dr. Bell, PhD, I'm trying my best. Trying my best. But that's it. And I think it's somewhere in Discord too. I probably said it better in Discord. That was me off the cuff version of what I've been trying to do lately. It's as soon as I can. And I'm not going to sit on them, and I'm definitely not going to, release them when they're not ready either. Software Red, I'm thinking that I am buying two HPE for a friend's co-location because I need a server. It will happen at the end of October. Nice, a friend's co-location. All right, I like this. I like where this is going. Awesome. Well, you'll have to let me know what you're going to build and what you're going to put on it because that sounds pretty awesome. Let's see. All my bot spam. That I remember that as soon as I started the stream, I was like, oh yeah, I said last stream that I'm probably going to get rid of the bot spam. I might at some point. We'll see. I need to do an online check though. I still want to send the message if I'm not online, just so the person who just did it could see the message. But if I'm online, I'll definitely call it out. So, Bill Nash, I came into a conversation about idle power draw, and holy cow. That an issue we don't pay a lot of attention to until we're on battery or generator all the time. Yeah, Bill Nash. Yeah, idle power draw. I mean, I totally agree. Like, power electricity in general, you don't even think about it until you don't have it anymore, or until it's a limited resource, right? When you're on battery power or generator, or you're on a UPS that can only draw so many watts. But for me, I see it in my power bill too. So a lot of people in their home lab, you see when you bring in a survey, it's kind of hard to tell because, hey, last month, it was 90 degrees for, 3 weeks out of the 4. And this week, this month it's not. So those things are kind of hard to tell. But in the wintertime is when I can really tell, like, hey, I brought in a new device or a new server. I've been running it 24/7 and I can kind of see the bump in usage. Which equates to dollars that I gotta pay the electrical company. So yeah, it's those were one of my decisions for kind of downsizing a few of my servers or splitting those roles up, and then eventually selling off my 710 because it wasn't doing virtualization anymore. So anyways, yeah, I totally agree that you don't pay attention to it until it becomes a problem or until it's a limited resource, like most things in life, sadly. Sigor, hey, how's it going? Good. How are you doing, Sigor? Chroma Solo. I like it. Chroma Solo. Hey Tim, been watching you on YouTube for a couple weeks now. You have been a big help in learning Proxmox, Docker, and K3s. All right, that's my bread and butter. I need to work some other things in, and I will be soon. Yeah, I'm glad to help. Those are 3 things that I personally enjoy, and 3 things that I think that can really beef up your not only your expertise in IT or operations, but also beef up your home lab and give you a lot of use and a lot of projects you can do to learn from. So, hey, glad you're here. Thank you so much. Takano, sadly, we had to put down our husky 2 weeks ago. Oh man, this is the poor pup that I think that was in the hospital. Maybe it was 6 months ago ish. It's hard for me to determine time right now, but I remember you specifically mentioning your dog. Sorry to hear it, man. Dogs are awesome. They're like a member of your family. So I've had that happen to me before too. So I feel your pain, man. Hope it gets better, dude. But yeah, sorry to hear it. PC Geek, I got lucky with the first one I got. Bought the R320, but an R620 with 128 gigs of RAM came in the box instead. Haha, yeah, man, I saw that in Discord. Yeah, you got super lucky. I think you paid less than $100 or something, and then you got this beefed up machine with 128 gigs of RAM, and the RAM alone probably costs more than what you paid. So yeah, you got lucky, man. You got lucky. The R620 is 2.5 inch, and yes, you can run SSDs in there easily. Yeah, as soon as I said, like, I don't use many 2.5 inch drives, I was like, wait a second, that's SSD. Yeah, heck yeah, I do. For some reason, when I think server is 2.5, I always go to mechanical. But yeah, totally. That's where I was like, light bulb went on. Maybe there's room in my rack for that. Famous last words. And then you buy a new rack. Vitor Lionel. Oh man, names today. I apologize. Vitor, that's what I'm going with. Vitor, hey man, how are you doing? I'm doing great. Yeah, had a pretty good week. Gonna have another great week leading up until to 4th of July, a little bit longer weekend. So yeah, we'll see. But doing good. Raven, I'm a computer science student. I don't want to have two different environments. One, my PC, and another, my Surface Pro. Any VM option that would allow you to recommend keep everything in one place and remote into, or maybe you have a YouTube video. Yeah, I do. It's yeah, I mean, Proxmox. So I see what you mean. So you don't want to have two different environments. So you work on one machine, let's say a client, and then you work on another machine, and you have these two different environments, whether that be documents or code or whatever you're working on. You basically want one workspace for them both. Yeah, I would say move that workspace on a virtual machine and centralize it. Absolutely. And make, beef up a virtual machine on a server as if it's your desktop. And then from there, just treat every client like a thin client, or any client you want to remote into that machine as just a thin client, a dummy client. Don't install things on it. Don't do anything on it. Do everything on your virtual machine. That does mean that your virtual machine is going to have to be up kind of most of the time. But it'll work great like that. I used to do it for a while. I still have one virtual machine that I remote into, and it's like my remote virtual machine when I'm away, and it has a lot of the tools that I need to do what I need to do. So I can do just that. I do personally, I probably have 4 environments. I couldn't even name how many environments, because I develop software and I make sure all my tools are everywhere, but that would solve it for me. But that's exactly what I think a lot of people are trying to solve, even trying to solve it with more demanding tasks like gaming, video encoding, but then your lightweight tasks too, quote unquote lightweight, school, business type work can be done that way too. But yeah, I totally move it to a virtual machine, remote into that virtual machine, and do your work there, and then act like those laptops are throwaway. Not that you're going to throw them away, but treat them as if this thing was gone or died tomorrow, I wouldn't lose any data because it's on your virtual machine. Then you can take advantage of all of your centralized infrastructure, so that it's highly available, backed up, very fast, and just is another virtual machine in your repertoire, in your hypervisor. But yeah, I'm just totally off the cuff. That's what I would do. If you're tired of multiple machines having config drift and documents here and there, move it to a virtual machine, and then I wouldn't even keep your documents there. I would have a NAS then that your virtual machine then connected to, and so all your storage is centralized too. But yeah. Inkfaust, hey, 38 you Sunrack. For some reason I was thinking it was 42, but yeah, it's still big. It's twice the size of mine. Let's see, Grits Ford. Is there any way you can show a LAN cache on Rancher? Interesting. Yeah, this comes up every now and then. So a LAN cache, for those that don't know, most of you probably know, but here's how I understand it. It's basically a caching proxy that will cache network requests and external requests on that server, and then you point all your machines to that proxy, and those files are cached. It comes helpful for Windows updates, for Linux updates, for games, for Steam, game updates, for any of the things you can think of in your house. It could even be used for web caching too. So that gets kind of tough. Like that don't get me wrong, it totally can be done within Rancher. I should just say within Kubernetes. It can be done. It gets tough. So you got to figure out a couple things like shared storage, where are all these pods that spin up, these LAN cache pods, gonna save that data from? And what happens if another pod spins up? Is it able to read that data? Hey, my real nil has resubbed tier 1, 3 months. Thank you so much. Hey, how's it going? Hello, Tim. Hello, chat. Dude, thank you so much. You told me how to pronounce your name last time. I saw it phonetically, and I'm trying to remember it again, but I thought it was my renil. But if not, I slaughtered it again. I will get it next time. But thank you so much for the sub. 3 months. Thank you so much. Anyways, the LAN cache problem can be done in Kubernetes. It's just going to take some extra planning. Storage is going to be a big one. The other one is routing all of those protocols from your machines on the network to Kubernetes and inside of Kubernetes. That was my diagram of how you go out and then inside of Kubernetes. If you're running a single node Kubernetes or Rancher, that's pretty easy because you can just do node port. You open up a bunch of node ports and you hit that one node because that's the only one. And that should pretty much just work. So if you're doing single node, super duper easy. You treat it just like Docker at that point where you're like, hey, I have one node. This is the only node. When I say node, I mean server. This is the only server that this container can run on. Therefore, because I can predict the node or the server, I can just do, host port or node port, open them all up, and it should be good to go. Then storage, pretty easy too, because I can predict which node or which server it's on. It's on one because I only have one node, and then you can use bind mounting. But if you go two nodes or more than one, that's where it gets a little bit challenging. That's the challenge with going from one to many in a lot of things. And so with Kubernetes, it's that same idea where it's like, okay, now I got to figure out shared storage for my cluster, and I got to figure out routing for my cluster. And those two things can be challenging. I have things to help. There's things like traffic to help with routing. There's MetalLB, traffic, and Nginx. Those can all help you get traffic into your cluster. And then for storage, you can do anything like Longhorn or the NFS client provisioner, and that gives you shared storage that any node within your cluster can use. So those are two things to look at. I would start with something super simple. LAN cache sounds like it might be a little more complicated, but if you're going after it, give it a shot. And then try just caching simple stuff like web stuff, because that'll be relatively easy. And then cache everything after that, because you're going to have to figure out a lot of ports for a lot of things. Steam uses a different port, your Xbox uses a different port, Windows updates is going to be a different port, so it's going to be challenging. But you'll have those same challenges whether you do it in Docker or Kubernetes. It's just you get the added layer of how do you route that traffic. So sounds fun. Hey, Vuski, cheered 100 bits. Thank you so much. Would it be possible that you would be able to do a zero downtime Proxmox high availability setup with something like to keep a Minecraft server up while migrating between nodes? Yeah, HA Proxmox. Possibly. If you've been here for a while, I don't run HA Proxmox, but I have my Proxmox clustered because then I get nice things like I'm going to call it vMotion, but live migration of virtual machines. And I don't have shared storage. I have 2 ZFS pools that just run virtual machines. And then I do have, my NFS server connected to both of my servers. Actually, I have 3 servers now, but I don't run HA. Vuski, I would highly recommend someone who's already done this and way better at it than I am is Craft Computing. So Craft Computing has a video on how to do high availability Proxmox and how to cluster them. And then the zero downtime one's going to be tough because that's going to, not tough, but you're going to have some really high-speed networking, possibly 10 gig, because if you spin up a virtual machine and move that image to another host, depending on your network speed and depending on the size of that virtual machine, could take a little bit of time. It is not a must. It is not a requirement for 10 gig networking ever. I shouldn't say ever, but it just makes life easier when you're transferring huge data sets like that. But I would highly recommend checking out Craft Computing's. I can see the thumbnail now. It's like him like this, and then there's this like diagram of I think 3 Proxmox logos, and they're in a triangle. Don't quote me on that, but I remember it. And so I would highly recommend Vuski checking out Craft Computing's because it's fantastic. It's one of the best ones out there on how to do HA Proxmox. But yeah, great question though. I would do it if it didn't exist, or I could do it better, and I don't. Neither of those things are true. His is great. His is great for sure. Where did I stop? Oh, okay. Chroma Solo. We are setting up a production cluster, 3 820s. What would you recommend for share HA cluster, Ceph cluster, or something else? Yeah, I don't have experience with Ceph, and I don't have experience with Gluster. I do see that a lot of people are starting to use Gluster. And so I'm not the best person to ask on this because I haven't used either types of those storage. I will say, so I'm gonna talk up everyone's channel. Serve the Home has done this and has done exactly what you're looking for. I'm not afraid to talk about the people's channels or who's done it better. Serve the Home has a great video and a blog post, which is awesome. The blog post is where I learned the most because I could take my time and read word for word what was going on. But that was the challenge that they were trying to solve was, how do I set up, HA Proxmox with shared storage and what storage solution do I use? I think they ended up going with Gluster and they have a step-by-step guide on how to do it. It was hard to find though. It was hard to find. I stumbled on it, but I'm sure if you Google Serve the Home, Proxmox, Gluster, you'll find the blog post. And they have a step-by-step guide on how and why. And those two things are really important. I'm not saying Gluster's the answer, but I'm saying, if a channel and a company like Serve the Home, who, does this stuff too and knows a lot about servers and storage, chose that path, that's a pretty good, indicator that it's a pretty good solution. But yeah, look at that. If not, I'd love to point you to it. Just ping me in Discord and I can find the article too. It's super, super interesting as to why, what problems they were trying to solve, and then how to do it. Inkfaus, Tim, real happy to see you again. It's been a while now. Yeah, all right. We moved to Kanagawa. All right, Kanagawa, Tokyo. Yeah, Kanagawa, Tokyo. And the ISP was connecting the internet for 2 months. Inkfaus-san. Okay, internet for 2 months. Now I was going to set up a server rack and move everything from the old laptop to new servers. Right. But I figured I'm going to be a dad, so I guess I'll have to save the money. All right. Well, congratulations on becoming a dad. Thanks for the stream. The best reason to wake up at 5 a.m. ever. Oh, all right. Yeah, 5 a.m. You are, because I think you're 14 hours ahead of me, which would mean that it's there Sunday. Yeah, 14. That's on the dot. I remember. Okay. Yeah. Well, hey, thanks. Enjoy the Kanagawa area. Congratulations on becoming a dad. You can still do a mini version of the server. You can still use Raspberry Pis and set up a cluster, but yeah. And get a mini rack. It'll cost you almost the same as a normal rack. Everyone thinks, go Pi. They're cheap. Well, it all adds up. Anyways, but hey, thanks. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Pizza Geek, I think we need some more sub badges and emotes. Yeah, we do. I know. I'm slacking on that. I need to get some more badges, and I need to get some more Discord exclusive icons for those that boost the server too. Now that I have Nitro, I can create them. I think I might have been able to create them before, but I couldn't use them. So anyways, iLoot, really depends on what your workload looks like. High level Ceph is good for lots of small writes. Gluster's better for bigger reads and writes. All right, iLoot, our resident storage expert. Thank you so much. Chroma Solo, iLoot, we are just going to have RDP/file server for local business, hosted phone systems, and hosted websites. All right. I heard that Ceph can be a nightmare to upgrade and maintain too. That's kind of, I've heard that, but it was from competing products where I heard that too. Longhorn talked about that a little bit too, how another storage solution that was a competitor to Longhorn was based on Ceph and all of the challenges that they faced, but no personal experience. But I've heard that too, but most of the time it was from competitors. Wow, lots of activity. Thank you. Cerebral Walsey. I'm looking on sending MIDI CC using libUSB to control synth remotely. OS X plus libUSB seems to have issues now. Interesting. I have zero experience in that, but it sounds awesome. Anything like remote protocol over the network like that sounds right up my alley. Yeah, good luck. Let me know if I can help. Send me what you figure out, because that sounds super interesting to me, Cerebral Walsey. But yeah, super interesting for sure. iLude, best to try them both and see which matches best the way you work. Yeah, I totally agree with that too. Because it's one thing to take someone's advice, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to support it. And so if you spin up both and you try both and you like both, or like one more than the other for whatever reason, I mean, that's a good enough reason for me to keep it in my environment. Marble Wraith, I recommend Vue. Yeah, for sure. Vue.js, super awesome. And a lot of people are getting into it. It's been growing and growing and growing. Like I heard about Vue probably like 5 years ago, and I thought, yeah, this is awesome. And then I actually listened to a conference. I was at a JavaScript conference. I met the creator of Vue, or one of the biggest supporters, and I thought, man, this project is really taking off, and it has been over the last couple of years. It's super huge, and it's funny now that React is doing a lot of the stuff that Vue was doing too. But yeah, let's see. I'd use Vue if people hiring around me were using Vue. Yeah, that's tough. Why do you care about the people around you? I mean, you kind of have to. Yeah, I mean, it just depends, because it depends on what skills people are looking for when they're hiring for a job. And so that's sometimes you got to learn or stick with a certain framework or a certain type of language to get a particular job. Yeah, and React's one that's like, it's in the enterprise now, and lots of people are hiring for it, and it's in high demand. Vue is too, but I would say React is in super high demand because everyone needs front ends built, and then they just are like, hey, we have this React app we've been upgrading over time, and we need more React developers. That's usually what it comes down to. Hopefully they're hiring, software developers that know more than React, but at the same time, a React expert is a good person to have on the team if you're doing React too. Captain Tidbit, I don't have any credentials to do just anything. Yeah, there you go. Still in school and all that crap. Hey, if you're still in school, and yes, you have time. You have plenty of time to figure it out. There is also XCPNG. Yeah, XCPNG. Yeah, absolutely there is. I always forget to throw that one in. Yeah, absolutely. It's Tom Lawrence is a huge fan of that one too. Mr. Muffalon. Hi Tim, just got into home labbing. Your videos are really helpful. Thank you. I installed Ubuntu Server 2004 on a used PC, and I used Docker for my workloads. Awesome. But randomly the server crashes. Longest uptime is 3 days. Any advice to pinpoint the problems? Syslog didn't help. Yeah, those are kind of tough. Is that server then virtualized, or is it running bare metal? I mean, you're looking in syslog. I would say look in the logs to see. Logs is going to be the only place to go, and hopefully either before it crashed you can see something, or when it started back up from an unexpected shutdown you see something. Those are usually the two places to look, but it's tough. And especially, it's tough. I don't have anything better than looking at the logs for me, and it's tough digging through logs too. Let me know if you find something, or if you I don't know, if you have any other places you have looked, and maybe we can rule some of them out. Happy to help. Marble Wraith. Oh yeah, that'd be the problem. Yeah, that would be a problem. For sure, if my stuff started rebooting randomly, I'd have to dig in, because I wouldn't be able to take it anymore. And then if it kept doing it and I couldn't figure it out, I'd rebuild the sucker. But not the answer. I think he's suggesting not to discount remote work. Oh, did I miss something? Remote work. Sorry, I missed something. PC Geek, try Memtest. Yeah, there's another good one. Yeah, Memtest. That's the one that you always forget about, or not forget about, but it's kind of like last in your mind. Is like, hey, maybe I have a bad DIM, and maybe it needs tested. If you can shut that machine down, like PC Geek says, try Memtest. Try hardware tests. Yeah, if software's not telling you why, if the OS in the logs isn't telling you why, because a hard lock real quick might have been because of hardware. you know, and then when it starts back up, it's just like, hey, we had an unexpected shutdown. You know, that message is usually to let you know where to look to you know, previously. But if it's a hard lock from hardware, yeah, most of the time there's nothing. It's you know, smooth sailing, hard lock, unexpected shutdown, or just recovered from unexpected shutdown. So yeah, good call in Memtest. Yeah, go the hardware route if you can't find anything. Inkfaust Material UI team are bringing a new material. Hey, all right, Material UI is coming up. Are bringing new Material U design. Looks very nice. I'm looking forward to trying it out. Nice. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I've been kind of following the Material UI 5 release. I've looked at it, but still using 4. I haven't looked at the Material U design. I like it. I like it. It's a play on words too. Mr. Mufflin. Okay, I'll try that. And then I need to install my GPU again. Yeah. Captain Tidbit. Oh no, I'm certainly not, but I haven't had a development job before. I don't have much to flex on a resume. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people do. I mean, if you're in school, that one's tough. If you are trying to get into the industry, that one's tough too. You know, my recommendation on those types of things is if you want to break into the industry or you have zero experience in the industry, is to have a lot of your own projects that you keep somewhere else that you can show someone. You know, like you want to learn React or Vue, build something, do something, you know, build something, put it in GitHub, make it open source, and maybe host it somewhere. So you can just point to people and say, hey, yeah, I built that. And they can say, oh, yeah, that's nice. And then you say, well, here's the code too. And here's how I did it. And here's the challenges I faced. And here's how I solved them. You know, a lot of people, you know, if you think of like creative, like artists, you know, artists, and that comes in all shapes and sizes and forms of art. They usually have a portfolio. You know, you know, if they're interviewing for a job or commissioned for a job, you know, it's not too much different than an IT job. I mean, bear with me. You know, most of the time they're going to say, show your work, you know, on an artist. And they say, okay, well, here's my portfolio. I do this fine art. I do this digital art. Here's an example of this. And here's an example of that. And they show their portfolio. I don't think that IT or technology should be that much different. Like, I get it. Like, there's a base knowledge you have to know, and you have to be able to, you know, do problem solving and fix things. And, you know, there's a lot of things you do need to know. But at the end of the day, you know, if you don't have that experience or you don't have, you know, you're not in the industry yet, you got to point someone to something. And I think that, you know, keeping source code somewhere, I won't just keep saying GitHub, you know, GitHub, GitLab, Git, self-hosted, whatever. Keep your code somewhere that you can show someone, and it doesn't always have to be a language. It could be your infrastructure as code or whatever, a whole bunch of YAML. And then, you know, have something hosted or have something built that you can say, here's it running, here's the code, here's what I like to do, or here's what I've done before. You know, and those types of things, I think, go a long way when interviewing. You know, you have to get your foot in the door first, and then afterwards, I think those are what set you apart from other candidates. But I'm a huge fan of that because I think of it like artwork. Not that, you know, tech is art, but, you know, most of the time when people get commissioned to do things, they want to see your Instagram or they want to see your portfolio. And I think that, you know, GitHub or something else, wherever your tech docs live, should be that too. Let's see, PC Geek, if you check the logs and it looks like it's working, then suddenly dead or boots again, probably hardware. Yeah, we're on the same page, man. Yeah, we went to the same school of troubleshooting. Thanks, man. Inkfaust, Discord, you can join or ask questions as well. Dude, Inkfaust, thanks. Thank you so much. PC Geek, if it was software, usually there's some kernel panic or something related in the logs. I like it. Yes, man. We got a lot of troubleshooting going on in here. iLude, trying to get the machine down to the minimum hardware as possible, including RAM. Then if it starts adding hardware, wait to see if things are stable. Yeah, if you're at that point, yeah, that's I've done that a few times before, but most of the time it wasn't troubleshooting reboots like that or random crashes. It was more like, hey, I'm getting random beeps, and so you slowly take away hardware, or you take away all the hardware, add it back slowly, or vice versa, take away hardware slowly over time. But yeah. Make sure you're not overheating too. I like it. Yeah, that's a great great comment. That's something that can be overlooked. If your machine's overheating, the CPU is just it's gonna reboot. It's gonna stop. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, basic steps of troubleshooting right there. I love it. I love it. Can't beat that. Another thought is the power supply big enough. If you get a high power draw, you can cause the power supply to shut down versus burning itself up. Yeah, lots of great troubleshooting going on here for sure. Mr. Muffin, PC Geek, that's what I was suspecting too. If the RAM, it's easy to investigate. Anything else will be hard. I don't have a lot of hardware lying around. The PC is quite minimal. I assume 1 stick of RAM, no GPU, and 2 SSDs. Yeah. Check the motherboard for popped capacitors or other signs of magic smoke escaping. The famous shoebox PC I had popped caps and would still power on and run, but it was less stable. I'll check the board tomorrow. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you so much for helping out Mr. Muffin. Yes, I love it. PC Geek, I had a PSU once, years ago, that was making a snapping sound when I plugged it in. The PC wouldn't turn off, of course, but I didn't hear the noise until I had my head close to it while I was under the desk. Yeah, I think I've only had one motherboard that ended in flames or smoking. I wouldn't say flames, but smoking. It's for me, it's been pretty rare. I've been pretty lucky because I hear a lot of horror stories. Abdurham. Hello, Tim. Super noob question here. How can I use NFS share on a NAS, Open Media Vault, to store Nextcloud data on Portainer? Thanks. Yeah, that's not a super noob question because it's kind of hard to figure out. If your Nextcloud, so if you're running Portainer, obviously it's a container, and you have a Docker container running, you'll want to mount an NFS share to that host. So on the Portainer, mount an NFS share on that host, mounted, then probably put in your FS tab so that when you reboot, it's there as well. And then you'll have a path to that disk, like /MNT/NFS/ whatever, Nextcloud. And then once it's mounted to the host, then on the containers, you can then mount that container, do a bind mount from that container to the node. And so to the container, it thinks, hey, it's just a path on the node. This is where I'm going to write my data. And then, but really it's NFS under the covers. So two steps there. Get NFS working first on your Portainer server. If it's Ubuntu, you're going to just mount an NFS share. Just Google it. It's pretty easy. Make sure you put it in your FS tab so that it connects on reboot. Make sure that works first. Go to that path. Do a touch. Create a file. Is it there on your NAS? Yeah, the file's there. And then the next step is then to mount, change your mounting options on the container to that mount path that's on the node. That's really then on your NAS. I think that's all you'll need to do. There might be some weird permission issues, but yeah, don't change any permissions until you know it's a problem. You could run into it where you might have to just take ownership of files with a certain ID and yada yada yada. But maybe I'm going too far. Start there. The rest is easy. If you run a permission stuff, that's easy. That means all the other things work. But Abdurham, that's how I would do it personally. PC Geek immediately unplugged everything to avoid problems and ran to get a new Antec PSU. That sounds awful. Yeah, it does. PC Geek, you can map NFS share on your Docker host and then use that path. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was going for. Lude, jump in the Discord and we can share config commands. Yeah, thank you guys. Yeah, for sure. Now I got to get your name right. Well, you tell me how to pronounce it one more time phonetically. Meyer Hillno. Hello, Tim, and hello, chat. How's it going? Sub hype. Yeah. Billy Quizboy, congrats on 50K. Yeah, thank you. Tim, you're my hero. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's kind of not really a surprise. Like I saw the number creeping up over the last 2 weeks, and I thought, well, maybe it'll be today, maybe it'll be tomorrow. And then all of a sudden it was like, whoa, it's here. What do I do? Do I do something special? I think I have something coming up. But yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, really, thank you everyone to subscribing to my YouTube channel. It's insane. In a little over a year, I got 50K subscribers. I don't know. It kind of blows my mind. I don't know what's normal though. I never know what's normal. I talk to some people who it's taken them years to get to 100K or multiple or 5 or 6, and I hopefully I get there someday, but I'm just gonna keep plugging and chugging, just a number. And so I just try to focus on my next video. And then, you know, when I hit a milestone like that, it's pretty nice, but next video, that's always what I'm focusing on. Techno, what do you think I could possibly sell a system with an Intel Core 2 Duo GT710 2 gig model and a 120 gig Samsung Evo with a Windows 10 Pro license? That's tough. Things like that, I always go to eBay because I'm like, you know, my baseline is always eBay. Like, what could someone buy this thing I have for if they went to the internet? And then I price it. And then this is where the strategy comes in that you have to play. You have to think about, okay, does this person want to see it in person and pick it up today? Or are they really going after a price and they want to save a buck? And so for me, I always, I'll put it out there. I always put it a little bit more than they would buy it on eBay. And I'm buying into the fact that, you know, people's instant gratification where they're like, yes, I want that thing. I want it today. Oh, but it's going to take, you know, 5 days coming from California. Oh, but there's one here in my hometown where I could pay an extra couple bucks for, you know. So I kind of play in that. But I start with eBay. I do the Craigslist, Facebook, Marketplace, eBay, and then I kind of find somewhere in between. But I'm never trying to like gouge anyone. I'm just, you know, like anyone else, just trying to get a return on something that's still pretty good. But yeah, I don't know a price off the top of my head. I go to eBay for sure. Abduram, thank you, iLoot and PC Geek, super awesome. Yeah, they are awesome, aren't they? I read this one, but Vuski, thanks again. Hey guys, I didn't realize the time. I've been trying to keep these to an hour, so I'm gonna go really quick and look for direct mentions. I apologize, but I'm gonna look for mentions, or where they call me out specifically, where it's really easy, like this one right here. Hey Tim, and give it my best. But I'm gonna keep my streams to roughly an hour, and I'm roughly an hour right now. Nalok. Hey Tim, first time here. Love your YouTube channel. All the useful knowledge you're spreading for both the newbie and the advanced techie. Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching my YouTube videos, and thanks for coming here to Twitch. It's a huge jump to get over here. Chroma Solo, Techno Tim, thank you very much. Also, thank you, iLoot. Yeah, thank you both for sure. All right, I'm looking for mentions or looking for my name, Tim. I'm scanning fast. Oh, I got caught up. All right. Oh, here we go. Tim Brand. Hi, Tim. Thanks for the great content. Found you a little while ago on YouTube, and you have helped me learn a lot. Keep up the great work. Good vibes. I like this. Good vibes. Who's that from? GV. Hey, thank you. No, I appreciate it. Thanks for watching my YouTube videos. Thanks for recommending them to your friends. And thanks for stopping in Twitch. I really appreciate it. Yeah, it's crazy wild ride. This is, I still feel like it's all new to me. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for stopping in on Saturday. I know that you guys have a lot to do, and it's yet another reason why I'm trying to keep this to an hour. I'm trying to keep this more like kind of a meeting where I try to start mostly on time and end mostly on time because I know you guys have a lot to do, and I don't want to burn up your entire Saturday, so I appreciate you being here. If you guys have any more questions or comments, I would love for you to join the Discord server, which iLoot just linked. I appreciate it. It's a great community full of people trying to help people, trying to figure stuff out, people who love tech, who love old tech, new tech, who boo and hiss at Windows 11, and those who say, yes, Windows 11 is the next best thing. I'm kidding. It's going on in there. It really is. But, you know, it's a great community of people that are just here to help people that really are passionate about technology, not just servers, not just any one technology, but all technology or some technology. It's fantastic because I learn so much and I get to chit chat about things I don't get to normally chit chat about with other people. So it's a great place to do that. I encourage you to join. Not required, but I would love to have you in there. And printers too, absolutely. Don't bring up printers, especially at the end of the stream. You bring up printers, I realize. You bring up printers or your ISP speed. Everyone wants to talk about printers and what their network download speed is from their ISP, which I love because everyone can relate to it. Either printer horror stories or a printer they love, and then how fast is their internet or how much they're paying, and either they love it or hate it. It's very polarizing, but it's that goes on in there too, so I appreciate it. I will be back, absolutely, Twitch next Saturday, and I'll try to have something out here shortly. Have a great rest of the Saturday. Thanks for stopping in, and yeah, as always, be good to each other. Take care, folks.